Welcome to the Wellness Lab Digest, where we help you to absorb powerful, life-changing insights from top wellness experts with our daily, bite-sized wellness podcast summaries. Each episode is packed with distilled, powerful takeaways to boost your health and well-being. To support this podcast, please scroll down on whatever app you're listening on. Ratings and reviews are helpful. Even better, just send the show to a friend. Or check out our sponsors at the bottom of the page, or simply click the Support the Show link.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Today, we're going to be diving into the mind of Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Not, the Fresh Prince or the blockbuster guy, but like
the
man behind the persona.
Man, yeah.
And we're going to be using as our source material a really interesting interview that he did with Shetty.
Oh, yeah.
On the On Purpose podcast.
It's a good one.
So, if you want like the full unfiltered Will Smith, definitely go check that out. But we're going to be pulling out sort of the key takeaways and insights
the good stuff
that stood out to us, and talking about it.
Oh, good.
So,
I'm excited.
Our mission for this deep dive is basically to unpack Will Smith's philosophy for life, for a fulfilling life, and you know, achieving your goals and all that. And to kick things off, I think we should start with his childhood.
Makes sense, yeah.
Because, you know, it seems like such a formative time for him, and it really lays the groundwork for understanding his worldview.
Yeah, it's really interesting how he talks about growing up with violence at home and how that really impacted his emotional intelligence.
Oh, wow.
He kind of had to develop this, like, hyper-awareness of other people and his surroundings just to kind of survive.
Oh, that's so interesting. So it's like he had to become this really perceptive person from a very young age.
Right, exactly. It was like this defense mechanism.
Oh, wow.
To make sure he was safe. And then as he matured, that kind of evolved into this really powerful ability to connect with others.
So it's like that need to read the room to protect himself kind of blossomed into this like genuine empathy.
Right. And I think we're going to see this theme of connection with others come up over and over again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So he developed this really deep sense of empathy, but at the same time, he was also driven to succeed.
Yeah.
Like really driven.
Incredibly so.
And in the interview, he talks about how that relentless pursuit of achievement can have its downsides.
It's almost like he had to choose between like winning and being a good person. You know, and he even described his mindset at the time as like a military mindset.
Really?
Yeah. Like get to the top of the hill no matter what.
Wow.
And, you know, he achieved massive success.
Right.
But he also realized it came at a personal cost.
Yeah, that's that age-old question, right? Like reaching the top of the mountain, but like who's there with you?
Exactly. And I think it's something a lot of people struggle with, right? That drive to achieve our goals.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
Right.
Smith talks about how he was so focused on the product, you know, the outcome.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily making his family happy.
Yeah. So it's like shifting from this product-focused mindset to a more people-focused mindset.
Exactly. Prioritizing feelings and well-being.
That's interesting. And it makes me think of that quote by Russell Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
The child psychologist who said,
people who need the most love ask for it in the most unloving ways.
That's a good one.
And Smith actually uses that quote.
Does he?
To explain societal behaviors, too. He's like, often behind aggression and anger, there's a deeper need for love and connection.
That's powerful.
Isn't that fascinating?
It is, yeah.
It's like a reminder to look beneath the surface.
Yeah.
You know, and understand the motivations behind people's actions.
Absolutely.
And speaking of understanding motivations, I think we have to talk about his grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
Because she seems like she was such a strong influence in his life.
Definitely.
She was like the embodiment of loving kindness.
And service.
And service.
Like he even talked about how she would take in homeless people. And offer them shelter and care.
Wow.
And, you know, he didn't fully grasp it as a child.
Right.
But it's clear how much her actions shaped his own values.
It's so interesting how it's like her actions rather than her words that really had an impact on him.
Absolutely.
And he tells this great story about her finding his rap book.
Filled with, like, less than ideal language.
Right.
And instead of, like, you know, getting mad or lecturing him,
yeah,
she sits down and she writes him a letter.
Wow.
And in the letter, she talks about the power of words and encourages him to use his words for good.
That's incredible.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And that story really speaks to the importance of positive examples.
Huge.
Especially for young people.
Definitely.
It's not just about telling someone what's right. It's about showing them
living it out.
Living it out, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of ties into this theme that we see throughout the interview.
What's that?
The power of example, like how we learn and grow from observing others.
Oh, totally. And, it makes me think about his acting career.
Oh, yeah.
Because he talks about how acting itself gave him this unique skill of understanding and embodying different perspectives.
That makes sense.
Right? Like to convincingly play a character.
Yeah.
You have to step outside your own beliefs and step into someone else's reality.
So it's almost like acting was like this training ground for empathy.
Yeah.
And it helps him understand the human experience.
Totally. And, it wasn't just empathy. He also had this very analytical approach.
Really?
To achieving his goals.
Even in Hollywood?
Oh, yeah. Like he actually analyzed box office trends.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he noticed that sci-fi creatures and love stories were always hits. And that's why he was drawn to projects like Independence Day and Men in Black.
That's so interesting. So it's like this combination of charisma and like a data-driven approach to his career.
A little bit of both.
Yeah. And that analytical mind also comes through when he talks about his experience with his father's illness and death.
Yeah, it's a really powerful story because, he had this gift that a lot of people don't get.
What's that?
A warning.
Oh.
He knew his father was terminally ill.
Oh, wow.
So he actually had time to prepare himself. Emotionally and mentally, he even immersed himself in books about death and grief.
Wow. So he was almost like preparing for a role.
Kind of, yeah. And then when she learned about his father's diagnosis, he sat down with him. And they had this incredibly honest conversation and said everything they wanted to say.
Wow.
Like they cleared the air, reconciled past hurts, and said their goodbyes.
That's incredible.
And then his father lived for another 3 months.
Wow.
So imagine those conversations.
Yeah.
The depth, the closure.
Right. And so that gave him this profound appreciation for the present moment.
Oh, yeah.
And for not taking things for granted.
Absolutely. And it also led him to make amends in all of his relationships.
Oh, wow.
To make sure there were no regrets.
Powerful.
It's a powerful lesson for everyone you know.
It is.
To live life with intention, value the people around you.
Yeah.
And say the things that need to be said.
Yeah, don't wait.
Don't wait.
Yeah, it really does make you think about all the things you don't say.
Right.
And how many regrets we all probably have from things we wish we'd said.
Yeah, for sure.
It's interesting how this emphasis on making amends and expressing love kind of ties into his exploration of spirituality.
Yeah, it's like a natural progression, right?
Yeah.
From valuing relationships to seeking deeper meaning.
Yeah, exactly. And he and Jada actually embarked on this journey of studying all these different religious texts.
They did.
Like they dove into everything, the Bible, the Quran, Kabbalah, even Scientology.
Wow, that's quite a range.
I know, it's fascinating, right?
It is, yeah.
It's like they were trying to find the common threads.
Right.
The universal truths that transcend any specific dogma.
Exactly, like peeling back the layers to get to the heart of it all.
And what's amazing is that at the core of all these different faiths, they found the same message.
What's that?
Treat others with kindness and compassion.
The golden rule.
Exactly, just kept popping up.
No matter the religion.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And it reminds me of how Smith connected with the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically the story of the warrior Arjun.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Tell me more.
Okay, so Arjun is this incredible archer, right?
Okay.
And his family has been totally wrong.
Oh.
They've been stripped of their kingdom and everything.
Wow.
And Arjun is called upon to fight to get it back. But here's the catch.
What's that?
He have to fight against his own relative.
Oh, wow. So it's like this epic battle, but with this huge moral dilemma.
Exactly. And that's what resonated so deeply with Smith.
I can see why.
He saw it as a reflection of life itself. Like we're all constantly facing these tough choices.
Right.
These internal conflicts where there's no easy answer.
Life's full of curveballs.
It is.
And we're always trying to find our balance.
Right. And the Bhagavad Gita offers this really interesting perspective on how to approach these situations.
How so?
Well, it's about rising above the duality of right and wrong.
Okay.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
It's about tapping into a higher purpose that guides our choices.
That's powerful. And speaking of higher purpose, we have to talk about Smith's encounter with Nelson Mandela.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's such a powerful story, and it really highlights the importance of humility and recognizing your own potential.
Totally. Smith was so inspired by Mandela.
I bet.
That he actually wanted to quit acting.
Really?
And dedicate his life to activism.
Wow.
But Mandela, with all his wisdom,
yeah,
he encouraged Smith to recognize the power he already had. He said, you have a platform, you have a voice, you have a gift.
Wow.
Don't underestimate the impact you can make
by
inspiring others through your work.
So it's like he was saying you can create hope and spark change through your art.
Exactly. And that sometimes the call to service comes in unexpected ways.
Right.
It doesn't have to be this grand gesture.
Yeah, that's a good point. But this encounter with Mandela also brought up a point of regret for Smith.
What was that?
So Mandela invited him to spend more time together to learn from him directly.
Wow.
But Smith declined because he felt unworthy.
Oh, wow.
And looking back, he recognizes what a missed opportunity that was.
It's a good reminder that sometimes our own self-doubt can hold us back from incredible experiences.
It's true.
Yeah. And speaking of incredible experiences, we have to talk about Smith's concept of the sacred clown.
Oh, yes, the sacred clown. Tell me about that.
Okay, so it's this really fascinating idea.
Okay.
And it really comes to life in his portrayal of the genie in Aladdin. He talks about wanting to blend entertainment with wisdom.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? Like making people laugh, but also sparking deeper thought. Got it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the role of the clown in some Native American traditions, where they use humor and playfulness to address serious issues and challenge societal norms.
Yeah, it's like social commentary disguised as entertainment.
Exactly, and that's what Smith is aiming for.
To make people think.
Yeah, to entertain and uplift, but also to encourage growth and introspection.
To leave the audience with a smile and something to ponder.
And this ties into his belief that life is a continuous learning process.
Right.
It's not about avoiding challenges, but about embracing them as opportunities to grow and expand.
And he uses this really great analogy to illustrate this point.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
The broken calculator.
The broken calculator.
The broken calculator.
No, tell me about it.
Okay, so imagine a calculator.
Okay.
Where the number 7 is stuck.
Okay.
No matter what equation you put in. The answer always includes a 7. Right? So it's like this perfect metaphor.
I see it.
For how past trauma or limiting beliefs can distort our perception of reality.
Yeah.
It's like we're carrying around this stuck 7 that keeps skewing our perspective.
No matter what's happening in the present moment.
Exactly.
And it's a reminder that we all have our own stuck 7s.
Right.
These experiences or beliefs.
Yeah. That color our perceptions and reactions.
So the first step is becoming aware of them.
Right.
Recognizing those patterns.
And then actively working to unstick them.
Yeah. Smith even suggests asking yourself, what poison am I bringing to the party?
Oh, I like that.
Right before you approach someone with a complaint or criticism.
Yeah, it's about taking responsibility.
Exactly.
For our own emotional state.
And understanding that the other person might be dealing with their own stuck 7s too.
Right.
It's such a powerful shift in perspective.
It is.
And it can really transform our interactions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that true communication isn't just about expressing ourselves.
Yeah.
It's also about really listening.
Right.
And trying to understand the other person's point of view.
Yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in your own head, right?
Oh, totally.
And forget that everyone's experiencing the world in a completely different way.
Yeah. We all have our own lens.
Right. And Smith actually gives some really practical advice for overcoming that.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, he suggests implementing this rule where before you respond to someone, you have to repeat back what you heard them say.
That's interesting.
Right. It kind of forces you to slow down.
Yeah.
And really listen.
It's like no more formulating your response while they're still talking.
Exactly.
You actually have to absorb what they're saying.
Yeah, and it makes sure you're responding to what they actually said.
Right.
Not just to your own assumptions or projections.
Totally. It's like that game of telephone.
Oh, yeah.
Where the message gets completely mangled by the end.
And in real life, those misunderstandings can have serious consequences.
They can.
Yeah.
And Smith believes that this simple act of repeating back can completely transform communication.
It's such a simple idea.
It is.
But so powerful.
It minimizes misunderstandings. It creates connection.
And it helps overcome that broken calculator syndrome too, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like you're not just reacting to your own baggage.
Right. You're actually engaging with the other person.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like a tool for building empathy.
Totally.
And improving your relationships.
Couldn't agree more.
It reminds us that communication is about more than just talking.
Yeah.
It's about listening.
Absolutely.
Understanding and seeing the world through the eyes of others.
And I think that's the essence of Will Smith's philosophy.
Yeah.
It's about connection, empathy growth.
Yeah.
Recognizing that success isn't just about external achievements,
Right.
but also about the quality of our relationships.
Exactly.
And our willingness to learn and evolve.
He encourages us to embrace the messiness of life, to view challenges as opportunities,
right,
and to cultivate kindness and compassion in everything we do.
Such a powerful message.
It is, and it's something we can all benefit from.
He leaves us with a really good question, too.
Oh, what's that?
He asks, how often do we let our own broken calculators get in the way of truly listening to and understanding others?
It's a challenge to be more self-aware and to approach conversations with curiosity instead of judgment.
To really connect with the people around us.
Because in the end, maybe the secret to a fulfilling life isn't about winning.
Right.
It's about learning to love, connect and grow alongside others.
Well said.
And as Will Smith's journey shows us, that's definitely a pursuit worth our time.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
And until next time, keep exploring.
Thank you for listening to the Wellness Lab Digest. If you receive value from the podcast, I have 3 asks of you. 1, share the show on social media with your friends and tag the show at the Wellness Lab Digest on Instagram. Number 2, please leave a rating and review in whatever app you're listening on. And last but not least, please let me know what topics you would like us to cover in the future. You can contact me at empoweringmen.org/contact. And right now we have a free ebook to get you started on your wellness journey as well. That's empoweringmen.org/contact. To support this podcast, check out our sponsors at the bottom of the page or simply click the Support the Show link.